write it. Joe will write it.
Welcome to the Cowboys Uncovered, your go-to podcast for all things Cowboys football. Today, we're diving in deep into the highly anticipated Week 8 matchup against one of the fiercest rivals of the Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers. Hey, after a season full of ups and downs, this game could be a defining moment for the boys. Will Dak Prescott and the offense rise to the occasion? Can our defense win the battle of attrition and take advantage of the missing weapons on the 49ers? Typically high-powered attack, we'll see. So we're breaking it down, the key storylines, matchups to watch, and what it will take for Dallas to come out on top. So let's get into it. How you fellas doing?
Doing good. Good
bye
week,
man. Bye week.
Yeah. Mexican food. It's good times.
Yeah. So bye week, right? Does anything typically happen on a bye week for most teams? Don't know, because most teams are the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, the most valuable franchise in sports in the world, right? Even a bye week produces tons of content. No lack of content this week for the Cowboys and the media. Since the team lost 47-9 to Detroit back in October 13th, a lot has happened. Jerry Jones, well, play the clip, Alex.
All right. So let's get
there was a lot of criticism that you guys didn't add, didn't spend, and don't add, and don't spend, and are not aggressive enough with some of the problems that are still haunting the Cowboys today that we see play out on the field. That's the point of talking about the offseason.
Oh, I remember those criticisms very well. Okay, so what?
Or are they playing out to be accurate?
What's your point?
My point is, it seems like
Listen, let me tell you what I'll do. About it. I will let us sit down and look at the decisions we've made over the last several years. Okay? I'll look at it. Now, if you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over a radio and sitting here and throwing all the good out with the dishwater, you have got to be smoking something over there this morning. I'm not. And I really don't, and I don't even want our listeners to listen to me, to talk about, this is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask why.
Job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
Jerry,
okay? Y'all really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all of the things that I've done wrong and without going over the rights?
Well,
now, listen, we both know we're talking to a lot of great fans.
Man.
Yes.
Well, we've got the microphones now, Jerry. So Jerry Jones shading the radio host on 105 The Fan, essentially threatening their jobs. That's just one of the bits from this week. Hall of Fame quarterback, beloved Troy Aikman said on 1310 The Ticket that Cowboys receivers are running terrible routes. Then just this week, Jerry Jones questioned Mike McCarthy's plays and schemes on the Fan as well. But some goodness did come from this week. Dak Prescott did get engaged.
Yay, let's go.
Yay, all right. And then just to add a little weirdness to the week, kicker Brandon Aubrey selected for jury duty and missed practice today. Serving his civic duty. He'll be back for the game, no problem. But then finally, some sad news. Talk about for the second straight season, tight end John Stevens Jr. Tore his ACL in his left knee. So lots of stuff happened this week. Like I said, but handing over to the reins over to Big D. Let's dive into it, man.
All right. Well, bringing back memories of this past week, it has been nice to chill and not get another loss. But
winning.
See, let's start at the top. You had the Jerry Jones clip. The guys at 105.3 They that's probably like 10%, 15% more sauce on that question than they normally would have. It wasn't anything too wild, but man, did it get Jerry Jones riled up. And he needs to have his cage shaken a little bit, because it just drives me crazy that he can count you hear his mindset. And if fans haven't listened to the whole thing, I'm glad, Alex, that you played a pretty nice amount of it, because you have to feel the contempt coming through from Jerry to what he thinks are his lackeys, and he needs to have his nose rubbed in it a little bit. And if you think he didn't have his nose rubbed in it 40 whatever to against the Lions, we got another train coming down the schedule track here. This next 4 or 5 games could be extremely humbling. That's my first thoughts. I know there's a lot to go over there, but what do you think, Alex?
No, but like the crux of what they're talking about is they're speaking up for the fans. And look, I know you guys might have heard it, 6 plays from Sunday, but y'all haven't heard it from us, right? And one of the things we've been asking for in offseason was, run game and defensive line. And, this is something we actually had from weeks ago, but, it wouldn't have taken that much to get a Derrick Henry. And we can argue how much that would have changed our wins and losses. Maybe we don't lose the Ravens game because they hadn't won a game at that point, because we sniped them from getting Derrick Henry in the first place. But even the pace of play in some of these games and being able to sustain drives, that could have made it to where maybe we don't get blown out by the Saints. Maybe we have time to let our injured defense breathe when we're playing against the Lions this past week. Yeah, and there's other moves that could be made, but they're calling these, Jerry Jones out. Make some moves, because you've got this team, and if you think they're talented and you're saying you're all in, we just didn't see it, and now the chickens come to roost, and he's kind of pissed off that people are calling him out on it.
Yeah, we debated about this, who the shot of the week should go to, and we kind of figured that it should be like the media, Troy Aikman, guys of those ilk, people of those ilk who kind of called out the franchise and Jerry. So
anyone who's
shout out
standing
to you
up
guys for doing your own job,
you know,
doing the job right.
Stand up for yourselves. This is America,
sir.
Right? This is America.
Yeah.
Okay?
So better days ahead, hopefully.
I think about how much Jerry Jones has accomplished, not only with this current roster, several great players on this current roster, but you go back a decade and you look at the near Hall of Fame or Hall of Fame careers that he's kind of brought into the league with the help of his front office. And then you go to the 90s and his Super Bowls, and you look at his business acumen in general. And Jerry Jones is digging his heels in to get a little bit more praise for what he's done in the past couple of weeks, before he talks about how, in hindsight, yeah, these are some bonehead moves. All you have to do is throw down a stupid Jerry comment like circumcise the mosquito, and then you admit we got a couple wrong mosquitoes in the batch or something like that, and you can roll right through that. But it's getting to him. It's getting to him now, which I love, because it's the only sign we've had in several recent seasons that Jerry is starting to crack. The emperor has no clothes. All right. The old emperor is walking around. He's starting to get called out for his BS, and I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah. I mean, Joe, I think you directly had an impact on Jerry Jones flipping out, man, because if the smaller channels are complaining, then 103 The Fan will start complaining, and then Jerry will hear it, So it just, it makes its way up there, man.
Trickle up effect.
Yeah, your voice matters, man.
Hell yeah.
Go out and vote, by the way. Yeah.
In voting season right now.
Yeah.
But tonight we have a different poll to vote on. Not necessarily in the virtual, actual sense of voting on a poll, but with your brains and your essence and energy. Vote for what you want in this Cowboys. Manifest something. Go boo that man to his face, all right? If you buy a ticket, I want you standing in line when the Cowboys come shimmying down the little hallway and boo them, because they've got a chance here to create another window. They just signed their big guys, and it's clear to me, and this is a topic we wanted to talk about. There's something going on with this construction of this roster and the way the Joneses have been treating the media. It looks like a tank. It looks like they're tanking from a smoke screen. They're actually down to the dumps. The decisions they have made are just undefendable at the very least.
Are they playing three-dimensional chess here? I don't know. It's quite possible.
It's something.
Jerry Jones is probably a smarter person than me. Let's be honest, he is. But is he playing the long con? Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would love it if that's the actual strategy behind it all, because you don't want to be in the middle. If you ain't first, you're last, and when you're last in the NFL, you actually get the first round pick. So you end up
I
being first
just
also.
saw P's comment. Oh my God, P. Hey, shout out. He did make her an awesome woman. They're a cute couple, cute kid. Love it.
Yeah, that was there's like some good news to balance it out. You know what I'm saying?
Man, and,
So,
and it shows that Dak has full control of his faculties. All right, he's not Jerry Jones. It's not Dak's
Correct.
fault. It's not CD Lamb's fault. Let's talk about Troy Aikman's comments. So Troy Aikman made some comments about lazy route running, and there's 2 points that he kind of made that I want to touch. So one of them was that when you look at one side of the field where the ball is not going to be, they run lazy routes. They jog. They're looking at the other side of the field. They're not really playing with intensity. That's true. But when it comes to guys running crisp routes like Michael Irvin ran, where Troy Aikman would talk about being able to close his eyes and throw the 9-step out to Irvin and hit him right in the hands, that's not who these guys are.
That's
That's
not
not
there.
this is not their game. And you're going to see the other side of the field on Sunday. There's not guys running crisp routes on that team right now either. They got a couple guys out, but even Ayuk's not known for cutting up a route like Amari Cooper. Rest in peace to his tenure with the
Oh, man.
Cowboys. But I think Troy was good to point out where the blame lies, and it's in the talent of some of these guys executing. But I think in the bigger picture, I guess that's a philosophy question today. Is it Joe's or X's and O's? Is it the guys or is it the scheme? And it's to me, it's still coaching, because you've got to know what your strengths are. And if your strength isn't, I mean, they're not playing any strength type of football. Like what are they good at? Kicking field goals? I mean, they
They're
can move
really
the
good at
ball,
that.
but guess what? They get to the 20-yard line, they get stuffed. They have 3. Okay, this is a wild stat. All right. And I forgot to post this one. I'm going to go off the dome here, but Broadus brought this to my attention. He says the Cowboys have 11 or like something like 13. It was in the teens somewhere. 10 plus yard or 10 plus play drives with only 3 touchdowns among, I think it was 17 10 plus play drives, only 3 touchdowns out of those. You cannot kick 100 field goals. I don't care how good the kicker is. I don't care how reliable it was. Whatever ball this is absolutely dog doo-doo. All right, from Big D.
yeah, brutal.
Tell
That's
him,
a
Dave.
gross
Tell
stat.
him.
That's a gross stat.
Yeah.
I mean, 17. Imagine he had 17, 10 plus. Imagine how hard it is for this team, especially, to convert. All right, without shooting themselves on the foot. And we've seen in a million. They've had 4, 5, 6 times as many drives where they have penalties. They're called back. They're short of the sticks. They throw an interception. They have whatever. There's 17, 10 plus play drives, and they only have 3 touchdowns to show for it. It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Red zone issues again this year, right? That's something that's been a common thing with this Mike McCarthy offense. So
guess the yards per carry on the red zone attempts on rushes. It's 0.8 yards. 0.8 yards per carry.
And I thought
that's even worse.
0.8 yards per carry in the red zone. And I got to give Broadus more props. Broadus is all over YouTube this whole bye week, just spilling the guts on his opinions. We love Brian Broadus. He's a friend of the show in theory. But,
hey, yeah. He is. When I was an intern for the Cowboys, we hung out quite a bit. That man knows more about football than anyone I've ever met in the world. So, yeah, he's a good guy to get your information from. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you had mentioned tanking, and really, we have some sort of foundation. We've got a Micah Parsons that will get signed. We've signed CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. That's clearly the core. I could see us bringing back Jake Ferguson. We didn't do it with Schultz, but Ferguson, he's a second Cowboy to reach 1,000 yards in 3 games, or excuse me, in a short amount of time. He's a guy that we love. I can see us bringing him back. But what can we fix on this team going forward? We're not actually tanking, but we could be in the top 10, right? Like it's fine to be real here.
Let's do a quick little what if you tanked for just
what are we
once all around the horn here?
What fixes?
What would you do to tank? Who are you trading? And who you going after?
Oh, you're saying to aggressively tank.
You got to.
I don't think they're
Maybe
doing that
Parsons?
though.
Well,
No.
I'm just asking. In theory here.
Okay.
Regardless if
Yeah.
we're trying to tank or not, like it's
You're
a
breaking my
tank kind
brain.
of season. So, what
I
would
don't know.
we do with the top 5 pick, right?
There's only one thing the Cowboys have done well, and it's really honestly drafting. So they haven't been good at figuring out
Let's
how to
say
re-sign
top 10.
guys.
Remember, we got Parsons at I believe 11, or we
traded back for
12.
Parsons.
We traded
back.
from 10 to 12. The
Because the
Devonta
Eagles are
Smith,
dumb.
the Devonta Smith Eagles trade.
Yeah.
Like, let's say we're top 10 again, like somewhere in the realm of possibility. There's some other bad teams, guys.
There's some running backs coming out. I know that.
Yeah, Ashton Genty.
Guy from Boise State.
He's nasty. So is it running? Like, we know we're going to address the running back. That could be a second round thing. I think it's deep in the class. Like, I don't want the Cowboys to go there. Defensive line, I think we need to address. I'm fine going offensive lineman again, but we haven't been able to solve that defensive line issue. We've tried a little bit, but
offensive line would be interesting because Zach Martin might retire after this offseason.
Yeah, and he's having his worst PFF grades this season. Yeah, unfortunately.
I feel like I'm ready to let go of this. We have to have a bunch of first round picks on the offensive line because not everybody around the league does that. You know, they find guys, you know, to plug. A lot of it's free agency when you're not drafting in the first, second, or third round for O linemen. I think they should do something like that and go after some flash, because what I know for certain is if we drafted a running back in the first round, Jerry's going to push that guy. He's going to be the new face of the franchise. He's going to be a new Zeke. They're going to put him on jerseys and billboards everywhere. And Jerry's going to say, now, listen, here, coach, you're going to have to make sure the running back is running the damn ball. That's how Zeke has carries right now. It's because Jerry's like, we brought him back. He's was a fan favorite. Still love the guy. Otherwise, why else would he be getting touches? So I want Jerry's guy to be the guy that I want to. I want to be on Jerry's.
Like this year, it would have been a Jonathan Brooks who hasn't played yet for the Panthers. He was the top drafted running back. So let me just ask this question, guys. You had mentioned, hey, maybe we did things on purpose. You know, what if we completely avoided running backs on purpose? We look back at this draft class. We're now at week 8. The number one running back has not played a single snap in the league, and he doesn't look like he's going to this week, and we understand why. But the other running backs, we got the Giants have Tyron Tracy. He looks okay. The Jets have Braylon Allen as a backup who looks good. But I don't know if those guys would have helped us, right? You know, maybe in this next class, which we do think is a stronger running back class, maybe they're right to just completely bypass the running back position. You know, like I'm trying to see if there's some method to the madness, or at least not even if it's the method, if it's more so, will the result end up panning out in our favor?
I mean, I just look back to the Zeke draft. There were a lot of good players in that draft, but you can't argue that Zeke wasn't a huge boon to that team. Now, I only want that if they do that. I don't want we're going to draft a guy, we're going to bring him slowly along kind of BS. That's really not, that would be a huge waste of a first round pick. I want a guy that you bring in, and if it's first round, it doesn't have to be. I'm not like sitting here saying that's exactly what we have to do, but if you do, I actually have faith that Jerry would lean on him because they are marketable. You are a marketing, beacon when you get drafted in the first round for the Cowboys. It hasn't been as sexy lately, but these are the type of guys Jerry actually likes and might help build a team around. He's also our GM. Like, I look at it as like he wants to put money in his pocket. One of the ways to do that is create another superstar. One of the easiest ways to do that is to draft them in the first round and then play the crap out of them. Now, is that how it's going to work out? I don't know. But if we went that way, I would not be mad. I might question it, but I'm going to be like, well, Joe, if they got a plan for him, let's go.
Joe, you can jump in, but I only call that running back because we're last in running the ball and we're last in defending the run. So it's either we need D-line or we need a running back to give us a spark on either offense or defense, in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say depends on who's available. The next best player, defensive lineman or running back, which one is better available at that point, right? Those are the two positions that I would definitely go for. Offensive lineman, I agree that maybe a second round, third round trade for some veteran that still has some juice left. I don't know, but
Resign Connor Williams. He's going to be a free agent. I think he might even be a free agent now.
Yeah.
oh man, bring Tyron back.
Yeah, but I agree though. I do think ultimately it can work out in our favor because we just have a very young team. Like we're kind of spoiled. Like Bland balled out as a rookie, man, and he's got
Yeah,
yes, there's an injury, and we're hoping he comes back this week, but he's got many years ahead, at least a couple without getting a contract, and we've got Diggs on the other side, so it's like. You were asking about our strength. I mean, I think it's cornerback. If once Bland gets back, that'll be one of our strengths, and that could actually be explosive for us.
yeah. Well, that might be a good segue to kind of hop in. We can get into some stuff around the league, but I think maybe Cowboys injury updates might be a good place to go next. What do you think?
Start steering towards talking about this game.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with the injury updates for both sides. And
let's do it this way. Let's do around the league into the Niners,
Sure.
because
Perfect.
the around the league is going to be about trades and injuries. So
let's do it.
we've got the Bucks who lost Chris Godwin, and
Mhm.
we do have the Niners who are about to face. They lost Brandon Ayuk. We've seen trades. The Chiefs go after DeAndre Hopkins, and
Yep,
Dave was
that's
mentioning how like
huge.
there's some receivers that don't necessarily need to have crisp route running. That's an example of a guy that you just get him the ball. He's like an 80-20 type of receiver, not a 50-50 ball type guy. So some good trades there. Amari Cooper, y'all mentioned at the top, going to the Bills, and Devontae Adams on the move. So there still might be some other moves. We did see the game that's playing right now, the LA Rams. We saw from Diana Rossini some reports that Cooper Kupp was available for a second round pick, and the Rams would pay the salary. I don't think the Cowboys should make any sort of move like that. That's super expensive, and the guy's older and injury prone. But also, it sounded like Matt Stafford was available as well. That's crazy.
Do we know the deadline? What's the deadline? Is it
it's next month?
It's about a month. Or a little less, maybe 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, so time to make some moves. If they're gonna make some moves. But is there any other big news around the league that you guys that stood out to you? Like
trade deadline's November 5th, by the way. So
2 weeks.
So we got next month, but we really got a week.
Yeah,
get on it. Do y'all expect any moves? Real quick, do you expect us to make any moves? No. All right, we move on.
Only possible move, and I think Dave, we talked about this a little bit. It's like maybe elevating Cook from the practice squad.
They should have done that during the
game
week.
day roster. Yeah,
guys, we were being fans last
That's all
year.
we have to hope for.
Last year, Cook was horrible. It's okay, guys. It's over. It's over.
I've seen horrible running backs on this roster, so
we thought Kareem Hunt was done.
Didn't you sign him to? I mean, then why did you sign him?
I don't know. In case of injury. That's it.
I mean, do you want to tank or not? Play the guy. Come on.
I would love to see him ball out, but yeah, give him a chance at least. But okay, so I guess nothing too crazy news wise. I mean,
Hopkins
we don't care.
Was pretty cool for. I mean,
it was nice to wake up.
And if you have Hopkins on your fantasy team, that's an upgrade.
Yeah.
That's
all right. So then we'll focus on the Brandon Ayuk thing. We'll go into that right now, guys. We got the Dallas Cowboys right now, the underdog +4 to the Niners. We're going on the road. They're 3-4. We both are teams with only 3 wins. They have more losses than us. We actually are ahead of them in the standings. Who would have thought, right? And we've got a 3-0 away record. But at the same time, both teams are dealing with a lot of injuries, and the Cowboys, happen to be healthy on offense, but are super banged up on defense. We're still hoping to get Deron Bland back, who was our interception record breaker last season, breaking Trayvon Diggs' record. So, it could be pretty nice back there. They lost Brandon Ayuk. Deebo Samuel had pneumonia. Okay. So that's serious, water in the lungs. But it sounds like he may be back and ready for this game. We know Christian McCaffrey's got a, double, Germany Achilles situation. So we're not going to see him in this game. But really, guys, I'm not gonna look past any of the injuries. They still got Kyle Shanahan, healthy brain, healthy mind. He can get it done and scheme some stuff up. We saw an explosive game from their backup wide receiver who stepped in for Brandon Ayuk for some injuries. Let me find that. His name was Juwan Jennings, though, and this one right here. Yeah, this guy. He's actually currently their yardage leader, Juwan Jennings. He's their third string wide receiver, 404 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns. So this isn't a guy you want to sleep on either. They have a rookie named Ricky Pearsall who's coming back from a gunshot wound. And he started his first game last week, but he's a first round draft pick. So they had plans for him. So point is, there's guys that they can insert right back into the lineup who, again, one is their number one producing wide receiver who was their third string, who's now elevated, and a first round pick. So this is not a team to sleep on. But give me some of your initial thoughts.
Yeah, I'll say that I'm not that scared about the receiving core. It's the running game, man. If you guys didn't know, Jordan Mason is the second leading rusher in the NFL, just behind, of course, Derrick Henry. But
666,
I mean,
7 yards.
yeah, averaging I think it's 95, almost 100 yards a game, 95 yards a game. That's who I'm going to be more worried about than the receivers. And the Chiefs did intercept Brock Purdy, I think, twice last week. So there's a lot to be had in terms of like that the passing offense, in terms of taking advantage of that. And hopefully Bland is back, but there's some opportunities out there.
Yeah, here's their projections. Projections ain't sheet, but take a look. You got this, but really it's just going to come down to what can we do on the defensive end to stop these guys. And just a quick look at the injury report. This is from our SF49ers on Twitter. Nick Bosa, elbow limited. Kittle, foot limited. George Odom, Debo Samuel with pneumonia, like we mentioned. Chris Conley, ankle. And then Jordan Mason had a little shoulder injury from a couple games ago that he's played through. And he hasn't been as effective in the last couple of games dealing with that injury.
Wow.
And even Juwan Jennings hasn't played the last
DNP
game, so he's coming back too.
I doubt he would play if he DNP'd Juwan Jennings.
Okay. So that means it's gonna be Ricky Pearsall, Debo Samuel, and really it's just George Kittle as the top guys there.
Well, I also thought Kittle was not going to play. He was having that injury. I guess if he's any of these guys that are limited, they're playing the Cowboys. They're going to strap up and play. Like that's just how it always is. The Cowboys. Nobody takes a game off against the Cowboys. They all show out. We're gonna get their best shot.
Well, remember
it's the Saturday. It's the Saturday practice that matters for the injury report.
Remember the F Dallas shirt from Kittle?
Yeah.
So do you think some of that plays into it? First of all, Kittle likes to play through injury. He does that quite a bit, but I think that was even on that Netflix show, Receiver. Like he has to play this game because we're gonna be on him.
When you talk about these injuries, so like Debo with the illness, pneumonia's serious, obviously, but getting out, I think he got out Monday, so he's had almost a full week to kind of get back up, and he played. It's not like he's coming back from a season-long thing. Like he's been in the mix, so I expect him to play. Juwan Jennings not playing. He's a rookie, right?
Not Juwan Jennings. No,
who was their first round?
Ricky Pearsall is a rookie. Yeah.
Pearsall, actually, also the name of where we have Little D every year.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings had like a contract extension this offseason. He's been a lesser known guy, but he's been when called upon, he has always delivered. That's what he does.
So I wanted to a point that I heard I saw on Reddit. If you guys like this website, heard of it, the 49ers subreddit. Every other post is very negative and nagging on Shanahan. They don't like how cute he gets. They don't like how he has a big ego about being able to scheme plays. And it's really only okay. Well, now you guys are losing, so you're going to call out and criticize. I get it. But when you look at the criticisms of him have been like, oh, he gets too cute with his routes and he thinks on 3rd and 2 he can throw for a first down every time. Very similar, maybe to kind of how Mike McCarthy gets. But when you put these two guys side by side and you say, which game plan are you taking into the week? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan all day. He's going to coach circles around Mike McCarthy. Now, do I like to hear that there's dissent among the fans? Sure. Love it. Go after each other, especially bring down your head coach who has brought extreme relevance to your franchise in the past decade. After some hilarious stints with Harbaugh and who was also awesome. The 49ers got nothing to complain about. You look at the Cowboys, look at other teams in the league. I mean,
McCaffrey is playing. The 49ers win at least 2 more games,
Yeah, that's why they got him, because he's really the thing they're missing the most.
If they're going to let Shanahan go because he's got a big ego about his scheming, well, it plays right into our hands.
They're not doing
It's
that.
not going to happen.
Well, should we let's talk about some of the
Hasn't he
Cowboys?
got them to the Super Bowl twice? They're not letting him go.
I know. It's like
Yeah,
the fans.
well-
Like that's what I'm saying. That's what the fans are talking about.
How about this, Joe? We'll switch into the injuries. We'll start with our tackle leader, Eric Kendricks. I love this guy. I'm so glad. This is a signing that I love. This Eric Kendricks and then last year's Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore. Those are signings that kind of changed the narrative a little bit because we just were never making moves. I love this Kendricks signing because we knew that he had the history with our defensive coach, so it made sense. But he's a little bit limited right now for the second straight day. Kendricks limited at practices with a shoulder injury. So, he missed the last game. We could absolutely use him. Overshown did his best to step up in his place, but we could use both of those guys, because he's been kind of a floor general and been that quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. So hopefully we get him back. And sorry to put you guys on the spot. Any vibe on Deron Bland? Any updates there? Because we're hoping that he plays.
I heard just a cast from last night. There's no news on him.
Today.
Yeah, no news on him possibly playing or Parsons. They both Kalen Carson's. That's good to see he was a full participant, but I mean the kid's only played 3 or 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unfortunate that that we have so many injured guys that are all.
This is the year for Kalen Carson to get some playing time and for it not to ultimately matter. Like learn the NFL, learn the league, get used to the speed, get used to the players, right? But the thing that's funny on here is the jury duty won by Aubrey, but obviously he's going to play, guys. Don't be scared.
NIR / other jury duty.
Who goes into jury duty anyway, especially in a big metro area like DFW?
I bet Aubrey wanted to be on the jury too. He's probably like,
oh my god, he's like, get me out of here. Yeah, I vetoed it, but they were trying to equate Brandon Aubrey to a Lamborghini in a trailer park home.
Okay, I've seen that meme. It's not
brutal. Yeah. He'll be fine.
I think Bland has a better shot to play than Micah. It sounds like, from everything that I'm reading and hearing. Again, let's check the practice report tomorrow, and then obviously Saturday is the most telling.
Yeah, there's another road game after this one, right?
Correct.
I think it's back-to-back road games. I don't know
back-to-back road. So we got Atlanta after
both
this?
these guys on the sideline, like on these coast-to-coast trips, and hopefully they're healthy for the divisional games and start to kick up again. I mean, there is a path to the playoffs for these Cowboys, and what's good is they are going to get better personnel-wise. It's be hard to imagine them getting worse unless Dak goes down. Knock on wood. But they have a path to get better in the next month. And I don't know that we have to put all our chips in here against the 49ers and the Falcons on these coast-to-coast trips. I don't know. I'd rather just rest them and say let's gun to win this division by kicking the crap out of the Eagles, Commanders, and Giants.
Yeah. Yep. I think Falcons are better, definitely better than they used to be. Now they got Kirk Cousins, but it's technically beatable team. I'm not too excited about that one.
Hey, 3-0 away. Put that back up. We're 3-0 on the road. We're going to try to remain undefeated.
I've got it over here
against the Niners and then the Falcons. Like, I'm glad we're not playing at AT&T Stadium because we might have a chance to win.
They've been called soft this year, and McCarthy got all pissed off. The Cowboys, and I'm like, you know what?
Road Warriors, baby.
Road Warriors. That's not soft. There's something. I mean, they have This team has the capability to be a top 6 in their conference without question.
One more
Okay,
peek
that's not
ahead here.
that's the playoff team. All right, but damn, I just shoot.
Yeah, so Eagles in
It's
2
tough.
weeks,
It's tough.
4-2. And across this show we've been doing, we've been just keeping tabs on the NFC East, man. So Eagles 4-2. You know, they bounced back. Commanders 5-2. No one had that at the beginning of the season. I can guarantee you that. Giants doing giant things. So I think it'll be.
I'm so glad we already got a win on them. Like,
you know, if we can handle business in the division, that's our only chance at this point. But I would say if they don't make a trade before the trade deadline, then, you know, really just coming out of the division is our only hope. I'm not too, you know, hopeful for a wild card spot at this point.
yeah, you know who's going to make a trade at the deadline? The
Eagles.
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 Guarantee it.
Why do we all get that? Because wow.
Yeah. No, they've always been making moves, whether it's the draft or free agency.
Or Saquon Barkley on the Eagles, man. I wish he was not on the Eagles.
Yeah, at least he's
He
not.
looked fantastic. He looked fantastic last week.
Has Dotson done anything yet for them? Because didn't they give
No,
us
he's bad.
He's been garbage, right? At least they miss every once in a while.
Yeah. With the Niners though, real quick, any other thoughts on them? Really, Brock Purdy. I think the debate was always: is this guy? Is he a part of the Avengers, or does he have a superpower of his own type of thing, or is he being carried a lot of times?
He's being carried by the defense. The defense is the unit that we need to be worried about. Obviously, Bosa. But if you guys, I went back and watched some of the film from the game against the Chiefs, and it wasn't the defense's fault that the 49ers lost that game against the Chiefs. They actually intercepted Patrick Mahomes twice. I think held him to like a passer rating of like 85 or something on Mahomes and then under 200 yards passing. So this is a scary defense to be worried about. And like I said, it was not the defense's fault that they lost that game. So it's the offense that we can probably exploit, but who knows what defense is going to show up? Is it going to be the one that holds the opposing team to under 100 yards rushing, or the ones that we saw against the Saints and the Lions?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, looking at this last game from the Chiefs versus Niners, I mean, under 20 points. I mean, they were able to get a stop on them. You see in the run game, Kareem Hunt, who was not on a team to start the year, picked up off of the street. Cowboys could have got him. This is a guy who they were able to run on him. I don't know if Rico Dowdle can pull this off. Zeke will not be able to, but only 58 yards from Jordan Mason, like we mentioned, had the shoulder injury. Only 14 attempts. Wow, 8 attempts from Purdy there. But anyway. They're a little bit more banged up. Jacob Cowing, by the way, guys, that's another rookie that they drafted this year. It looks like he probably had his best game of the season his last week. So they're mixing in some guys, but overall, no 100-yard rusher or receiver. Only Purdy had a touchdown in this last game. So they're stoppable.
Rushing.
Chiefs have a good defense, guys. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Hey, Purdy had 2 rushing touchdowns, bro.
Yeah. Good for him.
I mean, I don't think we're going to score any rushing touchdowns, but I think there's some hay to be made
3
in the passing game.
interceptions.
3 interceptions.
Yeah. Pick 6. Bland comes back, gets a pick 6 or Diggs.
Hey,
bold prediction, Diggs pick 6.
Don't you're creeping on my bold predictions and hot takes here. I don't know. Save it for the later in the show.
Yeah. So this isn't an unbeatable team. That's what we're saying, guys. Of all times that the Niners can be beaten, of all of the matchups we've had against them where we get schooled, this is the time where they're the most vulnerable. You don't see Brandon Ayuk dominating in here because now he's hurt. Debo's wasn't on that matchup because he's injured. We saw Kittle has that foot injury. This is our best chance to beat these guys. And what a way to come out of a slump. Not only coming out of a slump, but guys, if we were to win this matchup, if you look at this, that would put us at 4-3. They would be at 3-5. I mean, this is an NFC East opponent. We would have a
NFC
wild card
opponent.
spot. Of NFC opponent. I'm just saying this would help us get that wild card or even better.
Yeah, we got to stack up some NFC wins. We've been playing the AFC teams. I think 2 of our wins are versus AFC. It's kind of unfortunate, but
Browns and Steelers.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right.
So should we get into a little bit of score predictions, hot takes, and something like that?
All right.
Yes.
Let's do it. So I say let's start with the score prediction. And anyone who's got a score prediction, please feel free to leave it in the chat. But I'll go ahead and start. I'm still gonna go with the Niners here. Like I said, I think they do have some depth that they can lean on a little bit and still help them when it comes down to it. So I'm gonna go Niners winning it 24, Cowboys 16. Come on, guys. This is a challenge. Go do it. Go win it. Prove me wrong. Let's go.
Yeah, all right. So I guess I'll go next. And I'm going to give the 49ers the dub. I'm going to give them 26 points. And I'm only going to give the Cowboys 9 points. I don't think they score a touchdown. I think it's possible they score a touchdown and go for 2 for some math or something and score 9. So I'm gonna stick with 9, whether it's 3 field goals or a field goal and a touchdown and a missed conversion. They just don't have the red zone offense they need, and I don't think they're going to get a big chunk play touchdown, which it's like that's the offense. You either get a chunk play touchdown or nothing really. They have chunk plays and then they cannot convert them. So that's what I think. 26-9, San Francisco.
Man, I like how we're all just now we're having to factor in multiple field goals.
I know,
for
dude.
all
I was
these
doing some
scores.
math with 3s in there.
Yeah, I was doing math. I was doing 3 math. So I got Niners winning 28-23. So field goals factored in for the Cowboys. I will say, just rolling into my hot take here, is that I think the Cowboys get 1 interception and 1 fumble that set them up for a possible win. Now, whether or not the offense can convert, different story. But I'm leaving the door open for a possible win with my hot take. I guess I'm hedging my bet here a little bit. By the way,
Joe's got the
never
back
bet on
door
the
open.
Cowboys. But
Oh,
yeah,
man, I like it. Like, look, Jordan Mason, 2 fumbles. This season. It's
Brock Purdy
possible.
threw a red zone pick last game as well. So he's not doing that great this year either. He actually had a worse passer rating than Mahomes. I noticed that stat, and Mahomes was really bad.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Mahomes, but
so
yeah,
passer
that's
rating
another
is
day.
36.7, and then Mahomes is something in the 40s, I believe.
That's what I'm saying. It's possible, guys. Like,
Yeah.
don't think
What's your bold prediction or hot take, Alex?
Oh, well, I'm going Bland. Bland comes back.
Bland plays.
Well, he has to play, but this is the guy who set the record for pick sixes.
Yeah.
So I've got him first game back going against a Purdy who's thrown 3 interceptions. That's 3 opportunities for a pick 6. So I'm taking Bland, pick 6, first game back, and you can't really hate on that because he's the guy who's got the record. He can do it if anyone can do it.
Well, I've got the stupidest take of them all, gentlemen.
Okay.
My bold prediction is that we see the very first pressure of the year, the very first sack of the year, and a fumble caused by the number 1 round draft pick out of Michigan, Mozzie Smith. Has a career day. My reasoning, the 49ers run to the outsides quite a bit. I think they're going to drop back and stay centered, and our ends are going to try to have contain, force Brock Purdy up in the pocket, where Mozzie Smith's just waiting to go Cookie Monster on him, gives him a big smack. There could be a penalty on this play. Could crush him.
I like
it. Hey,
he
stands up. He does. We get to see whatever Mozzie's celebration is. We have not seen it yet. Could have a signature move that we're all been waiting for. But I think the young man has his career day. Give him a sack and give him a fumble caused.
I like it, man. So
I like
game,
it, Dave.
Two tackles, 1 assist. So I would love a big step up from Mozzie, man.
Well, we saw him have a good game the previous game against the Giants.
Maybe the Steelers or Giants. I don't remember.
Oh,
Probably
the
Giants.
Steelers. I mean,
Yeah, the
it was the
Steelers.
Steelers. Yeah,
Yeah,
he had
we needed to step
a really
up
good
there.
game against the Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So,
it's been
I mean,
3 weeks
yeah.
since they played the Steelers.
Yeah, right here.
And then-
three tackles, 1 assist. Yep.
There was a tweet going
And
around.
he caused a fumble that in that game too. He forced a fumble, but we didn't recover it.
There it is.
I thought he did. Anyway,
There was a tweet going around that said Mozzie Smith has the most pressures without, or the most pass rush snaps without a pressure amongst one techniques. He has 80 attempts with 0 pressures. I think it's a one technique. He's not really trying to do that, but everybody else kind of had 1 or 2 or 3. Like, come on, man, get through somebody. He from the beginning, his biggest strength was his strength. This guy's a strong man, and I just think he's gonna catch somebody off guard one of these weeks and give him one of these. Get through.
Let's go. Purdy isn't super mobile. He's he can get around a little bit, but
I think he's gonna be flushed up. I think he's gonna be flushed up, and he's gonna meet a wall.
Let's see what happens. Hey, Cowboys are 1-0 on Sunday Night Football this year, so let's try to go get that second dub on Sunday night in San Francisco, fellas. Let's wrap it up. Let's close it out.
Well,
go Cowboys.
Dave, I don't think I got your bold prediction.
I feel like that was bold, but
that was Mozzie. That was a Mozzie thing.
That was a
Mozzie
bold
one,
prediction.
yeah.
Oh, maybe a hot take.
I meant hot take. Let's go.
All right, so my hot take. I mean, I don't really have one. I don't know how to go on the spot. I'm going to double down. My hot take and my bold prediction are both Mozzie Smith related.
Yeah. I mean, so are mine. Kind of. I said fumble.
I think as long as it's pretty wild like that, you get double credit.
And I think that that gives a shot to win. Like I that's as far as I can go right now with this team.
Yeah.
That's as far as I go right now with this team. Let's see what happens. Kind of
I'm
looking
going
forward to some Cowboys football.
hot take. 5 touchdowns from Dak Prescott. Let's go.
That's super hot. Spicy.
Give me 310 yards, but he somehow gets 5 TDs.
I'm beside myself. That's the hottest, boldest take I've ever heard in my life.
We get 2 to CeeDee Lamb, and we get 1 to Ferg, obviously, and then just out of nowhere we get a
rush one. How about a rushing one?
Rico Dowdle receiving touchdowns. It's gonna be our leading receiving
5 Dak TDs. Let's go.
Somehow CeeDee Lamb doesn't get a single one.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb passes one to Dak.
Oh, I like that.
Let's go.
That's pretty sick.
Well, what's up, Shanahan?
All right,
how about
where
these
y'all gonna be this weekend? Where are we watching the game at? Up in
probably just at home or Alex's house, or maybe I'll
crash your house,
Dave.
Protected from the man at home. I'm
Don't
gonna
be
be
scared.
protected.
This is where we watch the Steelers game over here on Sunday night. So let's try to repeat that.
Let's do it. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna get this win this week. Don't worry about our predictions. We just do the predictions because we like to be right, but we want to be wrong here. We're gonna win this week. All right, Cowboys, let's get it.
Go Cowboys.
Okay? We're not tanking. We're about to crush. All right. So
see you next week, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.
Hey, appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. We got Big D at Cowboys Fan David. I'm at Dynasty F Key. We got Sports Guy Joe at Joe Garcia 73. And we appreciate you guys tapping in with the Cowboys Uncovered. Enjoy the rest of the game. Y'all give me the score if y'all got it, but it's okay if you don't, because I'm about to drop out this thing. Hey, appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Let's go, Spurs. We're going to win this year.
Let's go.
Spurs Mavs right now.
Nice.
NBA's back. Let's get it.
Write it, Joel. Write it.